there are actually two ways on how are we going to send email with Google Apps Script by using either the Mail app or the Gmail app uh, classes. Okay. So, but in this video, I'm just going to show you on how are we going to use the Mail app class or service. Okay, so we are going to have a separate discussion for the Gmail app. So, what's the difference between the Mail app and the Gmail app? Okay, so both of them are classes in Google Apps Script that allows us to send emails. Okay, but they have different features and use cases. Okay, so the main purpose or the main use case is to send emails. Okay, but how do these classes differ from each other? So first, our Mail app, the main purpose is solely for sending emails. Okay, we have here the features. Can send emails with various options. It could be with attachments, email body, and so on. Okay, then does not require access to the user's Gmail account. Okay, so we don't need to log into our Gmail account so that we could send an email by using the Mail app, and we could not also manipulate the user's inbox labels or threads into her or his email account. Okay, so again, the use case is for simple email sending tasks. Okay, so we don't need to interact with the Gmail interface. Okay, so actually we have already if you have followed this series, we already have our send email example. Okay, for in this example we have only sent these details to this email account. Okay, so what I'm going to show you now is same function. Okay, to send a simple email, but then we could let the user to select for the recipient the subject and the body. Okay, so therefore we are going to remove all of this. Okay, why this? Because we are going to let the user uh, to define whatever are these functions or the content of these properties. Okay, so I'm going to have here the recipient. Okay, then the subject. Okay, I'm just going to follow this one here. No, I'm going to call it email body and email subject. Okay, the recipient. Okay, so I'm just going to have it email recipient body and the subject. Okay, so that then I'm going to have the recipient for the to property, okay, or the receiver. Then for the body, I'm going to have the email body and the subject. Okay, so what are we going to do then is we are just going to pass, okay, from index or from wherever. Okay, so we are going to pass the parameters for it is email body. Okay, for the email bodies, recipient, and the subject. Okay, so the only thing that we have defined or edited or updated into this function are actually our parameters. Okay, so save. By the way, I have created here, I'm going to create I'm just going to call it model. Okay, because what I want to do is when the user is going to send an email, it is going to show or it's going to let the user to input the content of those properties into a model. Okay, so I'm going to paste the model here. By the way, I copied the model definition here from getbootstrap.com. So just go to get bootstrap, then for the docs, and go to modal. Grab it here. Okay, so I just copied one of the examples here and included into my code. Okay. So next is how are we going to open the modal? Or first is I'm going to include the modal. Okay, it is called modal.html. Okay, so I'm just going to include that. Okay, I'm just going to put it below. Okay, include, then we have the modal. Then before that, I'm going to have a button that is going to open the modal form. Okay, button, then primary on click. Okay, I'm going to have open modal for the email. I'm going to say send email. Okay, then I'm going to have my open modal. Okay, so I just actually copied from my previous examples, in my JavaScript. Okay, I'm going to have it here in my scripts. Okay, I'm going to include it here. Okay, this is how are you going to open the modal from Bootstrap. Again, I just copied this one here from my previous examples. Okay, so email modal. What's the name of this? So we have email modal. Okay, so just take note of the ID here. Okay, so in my email modal, by the way, I have already defined here my okay, the recipient, the subject, and the body. Okay, and when the button is clicked, it is going to have the send mail. Okay, so send mail is just like with our previous example. I think we have here our send mail. No, in my scripts. Okay, I'll just have it my. We are just going to write our send mail later on. Okay, but here we have, this is how are we going to open our modal. Okay, so using the bootstrap class. Okay, so we are going to get the modal that we have defined, then modal.show. Okay, so but be sure, okay, that you have included the JS for the bootstrap. We have this one here. Okay, because the bootstrap class is contained in bootstrap, that mean that JS. Okay, so we have it there, or no, here in our scripts. And for our send email, okay, I'm just going to test first if we have now our modal. Okay, so save, refresh. Okay, so here are send email. So click. So I have here now my modal for my email. Okay. So then when I click on send, so it is going to call the send email from my server or code.js. Okay. So here now on my scripts, I'm going to have function send. I'm just going to call it send mail. Okay, then I'm going to get the three objects or elements, okay, So the to, subject, and the body. Okay? Scripts. Const. I'm just going to call it recipient. Recipient. It's equal to document that get element by ID, and the ID that we have defined there is actually to dot value. Okay, then we have our subject and our body. So we have here body and subject. Okay. Then so that we could call our send email function, we have here send email from the server is we are going to use the Google that script that run then with success handler then dot send email. Okay, the send email here is the one, again, the one defined in code.js. Okay, so it requires 3 parameters. Okay, recipient, body, and subject. Okay, I'm just going to arrange for consistency. I'm just going to arrange them recipient, subject, then the body. Okay, so here I'm going to have the recipient. Okay, this one here, the recipient, the subject, and the body. We have here the recipient, subject, and the body. Okay, and for our callback function is I'm going to define a function then with the response either successful or not. You could have an alert, or I think we have here, I'm going to call, or I'm going to display it on my message div. Okay, so document that get element by ID message div dot inner text is equal to response. Okay, so this is going to call or open our modal. Then when our modal is filled by the user here, then it is going to click on the button send. Okay, and it's going to call on click is we have send mail. Okay, and our send mail, it is on our script. Okay, save it here, send mail. So don't be confused with the send mail and the send email from the server. And in our send mail, take note, we are in our script, so it is going to call the send email from the server, which is the code.js subject. Okay, so hopefully I have no typographical error, so we're going to try. Okay, so refresh, then send email. So I'm just going to I'm going to use my other email .com, then test email in a modal. Okay, we're just going to anyway anything. So this is the body of the email from Google Ops script. Okay, so we could see it here if it is successful or not. Okay, on our message div. So send oops, we have an error. Okay, cannot set properties of null inner text. Okay, null, so therefore the message div is the problem. There you go. So we're going to have, okay, so save and refresh. But I guess, okay, I'll try to look at my email. Okay, it has already actually sent the email. Okay, because um, code.js, it sends, the email has been sent here, then it returns the response. Okay, but as it returns the response, it wasn't able to return the response. Why? It is because it encounters an error here, okay, on this line here. Why? Because of my message div. Okay, so it successfully sent the email, but it encounters an error on how do you call this, on this function, the callback function. Okay, the term there is, we have here the callback function. Okay, so let us try this one now. Okay, so refresh, then send email, still .com test subject, and have here test email, then send. Okay, so email successfully sent. Okay, okay, so we now our test email. Okay, so that's how are we going to send. So on other videos we are going to have some more features of the mail application. So what we have done so far is we have sent simple email, okay, and I have also incorporated, okay, another eh, okay, another way on how are we going to use the code splitting, as we have discussed in our previous video, and by this time I have included it in our body section. Okay, so in the previous video we have only have an our head. Now we have splitted our code. Okay, I have used here a modal and incorporated it here in my body section of our HTML file.